Well, hello. It's time for another fun-filled edition of everyone's favorite Monday show.
Insert title here.
And I'm your host, Johnny Gators. And, do I usually play a sound effect before I start the opening music? No, I haven't done that in years, have I? Anyways, yeah. We're back after being gone for, close to a month now. I don't know. I mean, I was back on last night for Dune and Bob, and hopefully you all caught that. And, yeah, Brian was sitting hanging tight last Monday, and I was like, I got way too much to do. I can't stop for 2 hours to sit down and fill the time with witty banter. I got things to do. And so it's like, all right, next week. And now this week, Brian is busy doing taxes, apparently. Which if right now you're sorting out taxes, you're not having a very good day. This is not the day you want to be doing taxes. You know, this is yeah. No, I guess. I already told him file for an extension. So hopefully Brian's not Brian's taxes are fine, but he's got some family that needs some help with taxes, I guess. I don't know what I should or shouldn't say anymore, and I just say too much anyways. But yeah, hopefully Venison will be around, because I don't know. I got not much for tonight. I just kind of didn't plan anything because, well, I've been busy for a few weeks. There's plenty that's happened the past few weeks to talk about, and you can talk about that too, or ask questions, or call in, or be a part of the show. Many ways you can interact with the show. NHB Live is the Skype account. At NHB Radio is the Twitter account, and also if you respond to the show announcement on the Facebook page, that also sends a message right directly to my screen, because technology is wonderful like that. You type something in, you hit enter, and it shows up on someone else's screen. What a world we live in. I actually was looking at the Messenger program, and I'm like, what do we use for messengers? It used to be all about the AIM and the MSN, and, well, we don't got the AIM anymore. They died. And even for the past few years, who's been using it? And the MSN, well, that folded in with Skype. That doesn't tie into the Messenger. So I don't even know what this all category falls under in this Messenger program that we use here. I see that the Twitter ties into it and the Facebook wall ties into it. And I don't know, is the all I think we're still using Google Talk, but does anyone use Google Talk? Is Google Talk still a thing? I mean, I know Yahoo Messenger is still a thing, barely. Not much uses that, but it still exists. How long before Yahoo Messenger and Google Talk go away? I guess that's the real question. And what do you use if you've signed off the Facebook? Well, I guess Twitter and Skype. You could always chat on Skype. And speaking of Skype, hopefully Venison will be calling us soon, because we do have the NHB Radio Skype up and running. And this could end up being the shortest show ever, because Gators don't do solo. And so if no one shows up in like 15 to 20 minutes, Gators stops doing a show. But I guess we could start by talking about the fact that this is a new kind of surrounding, new scenery here. Yes, I have gotten a good start in setting up my office/studio. And I learned a few things about that. Now, I've how many rooms have I done this show from? I started this show up in Maine, and I mean, my room up there was pretty basic. I had my bed, I had my desk, I had all my stuff strewn about the floor and in the closet. My rooms always have been a mess, and it was California. I didn't even have a room to do the show out of. Oakland, I was doing it out of the kitchen. And Hayward, I finally got a room to myself to do the show from, but I had to store everything in that room. And same with the apartment in down the street from here. And as you can see, there's no massive shelves of records behind me or to the side of me anymore. And now I have a house that's a 4-bedroom house, and it's just me and Kristen. And so, we set up the bed in the master bedroom and threw a TV in there. Done. And me and Kristen each picked a room to ourselves to set up our desks and computers in, so we can, work out of them, do our hobbies out of them, do our thing out of them. We each need our own person cave. And she took one, I took one, and the fourth room is a much smaller room, and that's where I'm going to put the record shelf. So I basically bought a house that came with a room strictly for records, and I've got more than half of the collection moved in there at this point, but I've still got some work to do there. So that means that for the longest time, I've really wanted to set up a room where I could comfortably sit in the middle of the sound field of a quadraphonic surround sound setup. I wanted to have a decent TV mounted on the wall, because my setup is like a home theater system without a TV. And it's like, I primarily am interested in audio. If I want to watch something, I can just bring it up on my computer screen. But there it is for those on the YouTube stream. TV on the wall. And I only drilled 3 extra holes that are not needed, that are hidden by the TV. So, yeah, let's talk about stud finders. Yeah. So you buy a stud finder, cheapo stud finder, that's designed to work perfectly good with modern walls, which has a nice, what's a drywall tacked on top of some beams. Really easy for some type of depth perception type of thing to find. And then you have these like antique plaster walls, and one pass, everything's a stud. And then the next pass, nothing's a stud. And it's like, nothing's a stud. Well, gee, what's holding the walls up then? I got fucking miracle walls here. And then everything's a stud. What the heck did and then, of course, everywhere is power lines. The lightning bolts popping up like they just ran like a grid of power lines back and forth behind this wall. And I'm just like, oh, great. I'm so gonna. I can't hit the lottery to save my life, but you got a whole wall and one thin wire. Where's Gator's gonna drill? Right into a wire. I just know it. Well, no, that didn't happen. So there we go. But yeah, after a while of thumping around and listening to sound changes and playing with the stud finder and observing its inconsistent behavior and doing more knocking and thudding, I picked a spot that I was fairly confident there was a stud. And I drilled, and right in, no stud. Oh, fuck. And so what does Gators do when he's like trying to work on like handyman type stuff and runs into a problem because he don't have a fucking clue what he's doing? He texts Dune, and Dune said the obvious. You got a wire coat hanger by any chance? And sure enough, I was able to thump the stud. So I'm like, all right, stud's about over here. I overshot the stud. And at some point, I drew a third hole that also missed the stud, and I forget how that happened. But finally, I was able to, because I had 2 holes on either side of the stud, I was able to kind of thump both of those and measure the wire, and basically from that, bam, right into the stud. And then the instructions for the mount basically said, well, your studs are probably going to be 16 inches or 24 inches apart. And I was like, well, if they're 16 inches apart, that would be perfect. And so I measured 16 and thump, and it sounded like that's where a stud was. So I drilled 16 inches over there, and yeehaw. that hit the stud. So I got 3 extra holes behind that TV. But the TV hides them. And then of course, I've put TVs onto racks like this for work all the time. This TV didn't want to go onto there easy, and it's just scraping up against the wall as it's dropping down. And so I now know this room used to be green because this thing fucking tore up my walls. Now I need to get touch-up paint. The joys of home ownership. Coming to a house with brand new, freshly painted rooms, and before you're finished moving all your stuff in and settled in, you've already got scratches on the walls. Yeah, but I own it. They're my walls to scratch. Whatever. I don't know. The other thing is that I got my leveler because I wanted to make sure the TV was level because, we wanted to look good. And also, I think, gravity might come into play if you have things that are out of whack. You don't want to hang something crooked. It might start sliding. And so I hung my TV perfectly level, and I found out that the room is perfectly not level. So the TV actually looks slightly crooked. But I know it's not crooked, and I think I can live with that. And it's like, I'm wondering, are you supposed to hang a TV crooked if the room's crooked? Should you measure from the ceiling or the floor and determine your angle that way, or do you go by a leveler and fuck it, the room's crooked, I'm gonna let everything else be level, and room want to be crooked, room gonna be crooked, but not anything else. Well, I do level the desk to be straight because you can adjust the legs, and that way I don't have things rolling off my desk. But yeah. But the real question is, where is Venison, and why is he not calling us? Because we are here over 10 minutes into the show, and I have no co-host. And
the person whom you're trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please leave a message after the beep.
Hey, yo, Venison, I'm getting ready to wrap up here. I ain't doing the show solo. Give me a call. Bye. So, yeah, I guess we could, if I can find my phone. Where did I put my phone? Oh, great, I don't have my phone. I was going to say we could try to call Brian and see if he'll answer the phone and give us a little update on how things are going out in California there. But I don't know if he'll answer the phone or not. We can give it a try, though. Let's see. Well, first let's see if he signed into Skype. Maybe he's got Skype running on his phone. Nope. No. Computer says no. All right. Well, let's try Brian Blues' phone and see if he answers. Yeah, I'll just get a little update and say howdy. We'll see how this goes. Or maybe he just won't answer. I don't know. We'll find out. He's probably wondering what the heck this caller ID is all about.
Hello?
Hey, Brian!
Hello?
This is a good time to check in?
Yeah, hey! What's that?
Hey, is this a good time to check in, or are you up to your eyeballs in paperwork?
Up to my eyeballs.
Up to your...
All kinds of crap going on.
Oh,
I'm not sure if I have enough time to do everything.
You filed for an extension, right?
Well, we haven't filed yet, but we're getting together with the person tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. So tomorrow is the day that it has to be filed by, not today.
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, we're live on the streams right now, so we don't need to go into personal information about your parents' taxes. But,
right.
Okay, we got a plan.
Yeah, trying to find any of the documents? No, that's not happening.
You're the man with the plan. And the plan is extension.
And the plan is tear the hair out.
So wait, your parents called you 2 days before due date and said, Brian, we need some help?
Well, when I was there last week, I realized that they needed help.
Oh, they didn't realize they needed help until you told them.
Right.
I see. Well, so anyways, sounds like you got now. How long is an extension good for? You think a son of an accountant would know this? All I know is an extension is
like October, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're golden.
Not that we need that much time. We just need to contact these different outfits to get their 1099s and whatever.
I just need to get the paperwork, fill in the fields, run it through an adding machine, and sign on the line, and wait for money to show up.
And it was like okay, so there's all this stuff that I've never seen before. 1099-R for a retired person that gets the retirement check.
You'll be seeing that real soon.
I don't know. We'll see. And then these statements from Social Security. Well, I haven't seen that either. I don't know what that is.
So you're learning what you're going to need to know.
That's correct.
Pretty soon.
That's correct.
That's correct. Well, that's great.
Right.
That's great. Yeah. So I have no co-hosts, and I decided, I missed too many weeks. I have to connect, and we'll see if Venison shows up.
Right.
But
I know. But then again, there's a lot of things that we can't talk about on the stream. So, sorry, folks.
No. Wait, there's more stuff we can't talk about on the stream?
Oh, probably.
Probably.
You're moving.
Oh, I could talk about that. No, I'm in the new place.
So obviously you closed on that house.
Well, yeah, I hope so. Otherwise,
That's why I've been tweeting #homeowner.
experience of owning a futon?
Actually, I was just talking to my mom about a futon for a spare bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And we were both laughing about how ridiculous those things are. Let's see, a 2x4 frame, and you throw in these giant lumpy pillows. What is that about?
Well, no,
why are they popular?
Because they're versatile. It's a cheap couch, and it turns into a guest bed. And who cares about your guest's comfort? You don't have to sleep in it.
That's right. And if they complain, you say, well, there's a motel right down the street.
Here's the thing. I got to say, the futon...
And, if you got bed bugs, too bad.
I got to say, the futon is manageable to sleep on. It's the pull-out sofas that were the worst, because the pull-out sofas always put that metal bar right in your back, whereas this has got,
I've actually had a couple that were actually decent,
mm-hmm.
but, the cushions wear out, and then you end up with that bar in your back again.
Yeah, that's always what happens. Whereas the futon, it's a pretty, consistent wood frame, and it's all in, the quality of the mattress that's on it. And, I mean, I got this.
Right. So what you really need is a day bed and then the servant that will feed you the grapes.
No.
So you gotta step up, buddy. Step up.
I'm not. I don't need someone to feed me. I'll feed myself grapes. I don't. I wouldn't want. Do you really want someone to feed you? I never understood that. Who wants to be fed grapes? I can pick up a grape and put it in my mouth myself. And
right.
That's got to be awkward. That's got to be awkward. Like, well, what if their finger touches my mouth, and then that's kind of weird. And and then I'm taking space in someone's.
Really, you're right. It's a lot like the dog, where you're tossing the cheese bit into the dog's mouth.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, I ain't no
Which
dog.
Which image do you want, right?
Yeah. But, so buying a futon on Craigslist was an experience. And,
oh, my.
Yeah. It was about an hour north of here, kind of northwest of Boston. in one of those like suburb areas. Very lovely family that we're looking to. That I guess they got a real guest bed because they actually want people to come visit them, and so they unloaded this thing on Craigslist for $75, and I'm like, that's the cheapest way I'm going to get a couch into this room, and plus. Ain't no way in hell I'm moving a couch up the narrow stairwell that comes up to this floor. Whereas a futon has bolts in it that come out and the parts come apart. But we decided not to disassemble the futon and put it in the car because we're looking at the futon, we're looking in the car, and we're like, maybe it'll fit. And we're able to angle it in there and get it in there. And we're at the point where I'm just like, a few inches away from the tailgate being able to close. And that's when it starts playing. You start playing a game of how forward can I move the driver's seat while still being able to drive comfortably, and then it turns into a game of how well can I drive uncomfortably pressed right up against the steering wheel. And I'm here, and I didn't get into an accident, so I that was the most uncomfortable drive of my life. I was like pressed.
And which body part was squeezed against the steering wheel? Was it the plums?
No. No, the plums were not touching anything. No, I think I left a nose print on the windshield, though. Oh man, that was uncomfortable. And then, miracle of all miracles, I have to get the futon out of the car and into the house with the assistance of Kristen. And it was me and the husband of the family that put it into the car. It took two strong, burly men. I'm being very generous about myself right there to get this thing in. Yeah, and it's just weak-old me who's beat from putting it into the drive, and Kristen, who did very well. I got to say, we managed to get it out of the car.
It could be worse.
Yeah.
It could be worse.
It could be worse.
It could be snowing. Or was it snowing?
Not that day. No, but we saw flurry. Yesterday, there was parts of the day where the flurries were looking like, oh my God, it looks like it's snowing.
It was sleeting for the Boston Marathon, right?
Rainy and wet and windy. I didn't see sleet. I wasn't
paying
much attention.
We heard sleet here.
Oh, so. that very well may have been. It was a miserable day. I had a 10-minute walk from the train station back to home, and I get off the train and it's damp and it's a little misty, and I'm like, this won't be so bad. And as soon as I set foot off of the train, it starts to downpour, and it's like, you motherfucker! I was fucking soaked to the bone by the time I was done with the 10-minute walk home. But you know what the great
I'm
thing?
in my folks' driveway, and the car is sticking like 2 feet past the carport. And of course, it rained here when I had to get out of the car.
Of course.
Like, really?
Just when you
park. Could wait, and then now it's sunny again.
It's like
because we're going between hard rain and sunny.
It's like the episode. There was like a Thanksgiving episode of the Cosby Show where one of the gags of the episode was that in between drugging women, Bill Cosby was being sent out to run errands to pick up things for the Thanksgiving dinner. Throughout the episode, it's like, oh, we need tomatoes. Oh, we need eggs. Oh, we need this. And every time all separate trips throughout the whole episode, he's going, and he'd open up the door and it's thundering and it's storming, and he'd look outside and he'd look, towards his wife, who gave him the look of, well, what are you waiting for? Go. And he looks outside and he trudges out to go get whatever the errand is. At the end of the episode, wife goes, oh, why don't you leave that coat out to hang out to dry? And he opens up the door, and the sun is shining, and the birds are chirping throughout this whole episode. That's what it's like.
Of course.
That's so true to life.
Of course.
That's what life is like.
Exactly.
Life is like a pile of shit right on you.
Yeah. A box of chocolate? Where did that come from?
I don't know.
It's not a box of
Where's
chocolate.
my box of chocolates? I ain't got no chocolates. But the great thing is I come home and I now have the option of taking off the wet clothes, throwing them in my dryer that I own, that's in my basement that I own, and drying my clothes.
Yoo-hoo.
No quarters required. So,
oh, isn't that wonderful?
that is wonderful. That is wonderful.
And that you have to look at the positive side of being the homeowner,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You paint a wall. Hey, that's my wall,
Yeah.
right?
I scratch a wall. Hey,
Now,
that's
do you have
my
a
wall.
lawn? Do you have a lawn? Do you have a lawn?
Well, I barely have a lawn. I could probably handle that with a cheap electric mower, which I've not picked up yet. But
Right.
things are a bit wet, so we don't want to cut them.
But like when you mow the lawn, you go, "That's my lawn,"
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Even if it's 4 square feet.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
Can you get one of those push mowers? Is it small enough for a little push mower? So it goes zoop, 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 and you're done.
I don't know. I'll probably get a little electric thing that plugs in. That's what people have been recommending to me
Right.
for the lawn here.
Right.
But it's a pretty small lawn.
Right.
But yeah,
Right.
this is working out good so far, and I'm learning the joys.
Don't get talked into mowing the lawn with a weed whapper.
Oh no! I would never.
That's
do
a
that.
stupid idea.
That sounds
Yeah.
like a stupid idea. No,
Yeah.
I would be dumb enough to try that. But
Right.
I'm learning the pleasantries of owning a old heating system that makes creaks and popping sounds throughout the night. So that's fun. The old
Is
creaking.
this waterborne registers?
It's
Heats up water and then shoots water through the registers and stuff, so it makes all this noise.
right, exactly. As the pipes are heating
The
up,
pop
they're
sounds
expanding.
are all the layers of calcium that's built up in the water heater.
I'm thinking so. I don't know. It's not too bad, but periodically we get knocking sounds, but it's not been waking me up. I just notice
Right.
it, I'm lying awake at night. I'm like, oh,
Right.
wow, yeah.
And of course, popping sounds is just it expanding,
Right.
the pipes expanding and contracting the walls.
Yeah.
That doesn't really mean anything until you see that spurt of water.
Which we've not
But
gotten that yet.
that won't happen for a long time.
No. The only water I've seen is we do have some dripping in the basement when showering, and I'm pretty sure that just is I need a bead of caulk around the tub. So next trip, right now I
Right.
got a bucket on the floor of the basement. Next trip to Lowe's, I'll be picking up some caulk for the tub, and
Right.
well, there we go. That problem solved.
Hopefully, you don't have a leaky, drain.
No, I've
That would suck.
Well, I ran water in the tub without the shower for a period of time to see if that made a leak, and I didn't get any dripping doing that. So I was like, okay.
Good
Okay.
solution.
Yeah, because I
Good
was
test and good solution. Wow.
yeah. Well, I was thinking it's most likely, something in the wall or the edge of the tub. It's probably the caulking in the edge of the tub. But I really hope that it's not, something in the plumbing or something in the tub itself. And I'm like, well, if I just run water into the tub
Now,
itself,
is the
I'll test
shower
that.
wall tile?
Yeah,
The shower wall tile?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tile.
Does that look like it's got good grout?
Yeah, it looks relatively
Okay.
new.
Okay.
But then again, I think that this house was fixed up on the cheap. We still have the former owners still owe us a repair for an outlet that's wired badly in the kitchen, and I've been conversing with the electrician, and the deal is the electrician will come and fix it up, and we'll bill the former owner. And so finally he said, okay, I can come next Monday, which that was last week he said that. So that was today, this Monday. And so, today he messaged me. He's like, I'm running late. I'll be there at 2. Okay, cool. Next thing I know, Kristen's calling me and puts him on the phone. And he goes, yeah, well, I have to cut into the wall to get to where I think the problem is. And the guy who's supposed to patch up the wall that I've been working with, he fell and is in the hospital, so he was not able to meet me here today. So do you want me to go ahead and do this anyways? Now, I already have a hole in the wall in the dining room that the former owner agreed to repair and fix up. We sent them a picture of it, and they said, yeah, we'll fix that among the list of things they agreed to fix up. And then when I did the final walkthrough, it was still not fixed. And we followed up with them and said, how come we didn't fix that? And he said, oh, we didn't think you meant that outlet. we thought you meant a different outlet that needed some work with the because it was like it's like the dining room has wood on the wall, and where the outlet is, there's a much bigger cutout than the size of the outlet, so it's like this open area there, and we basically wanted them to fix up the hole around that outlet. Well, they patched up something else around a different outlet that we didn't ask them to do, and said, well, that's what we thought you were talking about. And I'm like, no, we sent you a picture of that. What are you talking about? And so the lawyers that were involved try to talk him into, well, why don't you just give him a $200 credit to fix it and call it good? And I'm like, I don't want $200. I want a hole to not be in my wall. But okay, if you'll give me 200, I'll take 200. And basically they came back and said, we're done. We repaired things. We gave you 1,000 credit. We're done here. Go ahead and sue us, was basically their stance on it. And it's not worth suing them for $200,
Exactly.
So they basically
even small claims court is a pain, right?
Right. The cost to hire a lawyer to sue them for $200 worth.
No. Small claims court.
Yeah.
Would probably be the way to go, because one thing, you don't want. I don't think they allow lawyers to be involved.
Oh. If I took
you
a small
show up,
claims
he shows
court.
up, and you work it out, and. And
basically I go, you agreed to this. Court. We sent you this picture. You said you would do this as part of the conditions. You've not done it, and I paid. You're in breach of contract.
But even still, for $200, it isn't worth it.
No, not really. Not
you
really.
Just go, well, what the hell?
I'm like, whatever. Even if I get a credit from him, I still have a hole to deal with. It's
now. Have you gotten a guy out to give you an estimate on how much it would take to fix it?
I'm worried about moving him before I deal with it.
Or is he the guy that fell down and
no,
ended up in the hospital?
No. That hole they're not going to do anything with, and I'm not worrying about it because I'm still settling in here. I don't have time to think about that.
Sure.
But
right.
That can wait. That's not affecting anything really.
You what you probably want to do is so you fill that whole area with a bigger plate that not only has the outlets, but all these USB charging ports.
Well, I already did that, but the things that I bought that have 6 outlets and 2
you mean it would take 30 jacks to fill the hole, USB jacks to fill the hole?
Those things aren't bigger. They're just about the same size as a standard wall plate, and they screw in over top of it. I bought 6 of these things that have 6 outlets and 2 USB ports because this house is a little sparse with the wall outlets. So I figured if I split them all to 6, that will help us out.
Okay.
We'll be knocking out fuses in no time. So we got that going for us. But no, so this guy was supposed to come. Now here's the thing. Is it normal for an electrician to not be skilled with patching up holes in walls? Because I understand that wires and electricity is not the same as wall patching. But I would think that an electrician that needs to get to wires and walls, if you're a good electrician, you're versatile and able to do the whole job. I mean, is it normal that I'd have to hire an electrician that would leave holes?
But then everybody has their specialties. So he probably should be working with a guy that can patch holes and not falling and ending up in the hospital.
Right. Well, apparently this electrician... first of all, I question the skill because this is the electrician that was working on this house to begin with for the former owners. And you got to question an electrician that does a job and you end up with an outlet that's wired wrong. I mean, wiring a basic 3-prong outlet is a pretty standard.
That you used to be able to buy at Radio Shack. Oh, but now Home Depot and Lowe's has it, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
You just plug in this 3-prong device that has a bunch of LED lights with different colors.
Yeah.
And it'll tell you if it's wired correctly.
Yeah. Well, apparently they didn't.
I would snag one of those. It's probably less than $10, and go to every outlet and see if they're wired correctly.
Well, the house inspector identified that this one wasn't wired correctly, so he checked them all.
Okay.
So I mean, I already know that I'm clear with all the other outlets.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know why. And he made a comment like, you know, clearly this wasn't a licensed electrician because, you know, otherwise you wouldn't have a badly wired outlet, you know. So this guy's
Right.
young, and he's mostly available evenings and weekends because he's usually in class. So that explains a lot. So
Did you get the guy's business card?
no, but I have his number. We text.
Well, yeah, I mean,
so
it's always a good idea to get the business card and hope that you see a license number on it.
well, I doubt so. And the only reason I'm dealing with this guy is because
Exactly.
only reason I'm
that would
dealing.
be sure. I mean, you know, he could be a new guy and he just doesn't have experience and he's screwed up.
Yeah. Well, I'm not.
I mean, even experienced people screw up.
Well, I don't even know if he's the only person that's been dealing with wiring in this house. I don't know
Sure,
what
right,
the
right.
people that did this house did,
Sure.
but I know it was done on the cheap. And but
Right.
and apparently the other guy that's supposed to patch up the wall, he's like, "Oh, I know where the bad wiring is," because he's like, "I gotta dig into the wall to find out where this is, you know, shorting or whatever." And the other guy goes, "Oh, I'm pretty sure I know where it is," and so he told him where it is. And so he thought that the guy was going to meet him here and the two of them were going to work on it together. And then today, as he's on his way over here and calls him up, goes, "Hey, can you meet me over there?" He goes like, "No, man, I'm in the hospital. I fell." And he's like, so then he calls me and he's like, "Well, you know, I could do the job, but we have to leave the wall open." And I'm like, "Oh, hell no. I already have one hole that the former
Right.
owner's refusing to fix up. You come here when you could do the full job. I'm not, you know, because
Yeah, you like one of the guys out of the hospital, right?
right, because I have a feeling that if this electrician cuts open the wall, fixes the outlet, leaves with a hole still in the wall, the former
Right.
owner is going to tell me what I could do with my hole if I start reaching out to him and going, "Hey, when are you going to send the guy to patch up this hole?" Because he already flaked out on something he agreed to do. So
Right.
I'm like, you're coming here with both guys and you're doing the full job, you know?
In fact, we had, you know, this was many years ago. We had a guy that came in and worked on some electric work, and he did a crappy patch job on the wall. And we lived with it for a long time.
Yeah.
Until our latest batch of remodeling, where they then fixed it.
That's also another thing, because he mentioned that he could try to patch up the wall, but he's not that great at it. So it may be that some
Right.
electricians will do a half-assed patch and do a
Right.
decent job with the electrical.
And actually, visually, you really couldn't see it that much, but you knew that this one strip, you know, next to the outlet that was kind of half covered by the plate was
Yeah.
just loose,
Right.
you know. But I mean, it wasn't. You just kind of, I can live with that,
Yeah.
you know.
It's kind of like
You
the
can
hole in my
paint over
dining
that
room.
crack,
I
and
could-
in a year that crack will show up again.
Yeah, pretty much. I
You know,
mean,
that
every
kind of
house
thing.
has got their little cosmetic flaws.
Right.
But yeah, so I am now the proud owner of a 32-inch Sony Trinitron tube flat screen TV. And
So it's a Vega
uh,
or Wega.
it might be. I know it's a Trinitron.
Yeah.
I was too busy composing myself after nearly killing myself moving this thing to actually like look at the model number and make and stuff. I know it's a Sony Trinitron 32-inch, and I know it's a fucking ton.
Well, actually, you know, take a snapshot of the model number
Yeah.
and post it on Twitter,
Yeah.
and then I'll do mine when I get back up to my home.
So you still
I'm
have
at my
your
folks' place.
big as a heavy like a bread
Yes.
truck TV.
Yes. And as I tweeted to you, I said, whoa, 32-inch, yeah, that's what I have. And we decided not to get the 36-inch because it was an extra 50 pounds.
So you didn't have it delivered and moved into the room? You did some lifting with someone else, I take it?
No. We just saw the weight. And, yeah, we had it delivered and set up, and we have moved it several times.
Who's helped you move it?
But, yeah, the bigger one would have been another 50 pounds, an additional 50 pounds.
Wait, who's helped you move it?
Well, we had movers. So we paid people.
You've not physically moved this TV.
Working for a large company that will pay for your move.
When you say you've moved it, you've watched it be moved, is what you've done.
Well, actually, in fact, at one point we had these carts.
Mm.
They're just basically a frame with wheels,
Right.
and I had these large Radio Shack speaker boxes. That had the speakers in them.
Right.
And it was the exact same level as the, shall we say, the TV stand. So you just would lift up the TV and move it forward just, a foot and a half. So it'd be right on the boxes that's on this, on these wheels. And then we could push it around, move that TV stand, which was also heavy, and then move the TV back on it. But we didn't do that very often. And we got rid of those speakers.
Well, that's too bad.
She insisted that we didn't need those anymore.
Yeah, you do.
But hey, they were Radio Shack speakers.
Oh, you
and
don't
they
need those.
Still worked good.
Oh, they were only Radio Shack speakers.
Yeah, right. But to defend the Radio Shack speakers, yes, it's particle board, right?
Right.
But particle board beats the crap out of plastic. A lot of modern speakers are plastic. I bought some Advent speakers. Advent's a great name.
Yeah.
But the cabinet was plastic, and it sounded crappy.
Yeah, no, you don't want plastic.
I want wood, even if it's particle board.
No, I'll give you that.
You see what I'm saying?
I'll give you that. Particle board's better than plastic.
I would love to have a pair of, clips that were wonderful speakers, but, I've never felt the desire to spend that much money.
Well, yeah, and plus, your wife already kind of set the policy on speakers in the house, apparently. So
right.
You've met your quota. No, but it does. The big Sony Trinitron is great for playing Duck Hunt. So I now once again have a TV that can do Duck Hunt, and it's going to stay downstairs because there's no way in hell I'm dragging them up any more steps.
That's right.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I found someone that.
You mean you don't have a walkout basement?
I have a walkout basement, but that's not gonna help me any.
Is that how they got the TV in there?
No, because.
Did you push it down the steps?
Well, let me give the whole story. So I was looking at listings on Craigslist for free or cheap Sony Trinitron TVs because that's like the TV that gamers always look for. Is a Sony Trinitron.
Yeah, they were the best.
Yeah, they were the best. And you could get, and here's the thing, it's still relatively easy to find big-ass Sony Trinitrons for cheap or free. And you know what? It's starting to get to the point that people are charging like $50 for them, which is still pretty damn cheap for a TV considering what those things went for in the day. But but they're only gonna go up in value because video game interest is still big.
Right.
And people are still big onto playing them on appropriate TVs of the period. So
you're talking about classic video games,
right? So 32-inch Sony Trinitron,
like Atari or Nintendo,
right?
Earlier Nintendo,
right? And Super
the
Nintendo.
Modern ones you want HDMI and a modern big flat screen. The bigger, the better.
Right. So most
you want to fall into your game.
Most listings on Craigslist for big TVs like this basically say, bring 2 or 3 people, this thing is heavy, and we're not helping you lift it. Most people are smart enough to do that. Well, I found the one listing that wasn't smart enough to do that because originally I was going to try to line up something for the weekend Seth was here.
Right.
And while we were moving, I'd say, hey, we need to take a little road trip over to North Attleboro and get a big ass TV over there. You could help me move it, right, Seth? And then I'd owe him, like another dinner and or 10.
Right. How much pizza can I stuff in your face?
Right. But the guy didn't respond back to me until after the weekend had passed. and Seth's not coming down again till the end of the month. So I basically, gave him a call. And I said, well, will you be able to give me a hand getting into the car? He goes, yeah, I should be able to do that. You got enough room in your car, right? I'm like, oh, no problem there. It's just that thing's... I always felt like working at Walmart, I observed that the TVs, the tube TVs that came with a flat screen, for some reason, I think they had more bulk to the glass. They were heavier. They were noticeably heavier.
Oh, I'm sure.
Than the curved
you
ones.
Need a lot more glass just to turn that angle.
Yeah.
I mean, a rounded edge is easier.
Yeah. Well, I believe it was some kind of a vacuum process that sucked it to be flat, but those screens were thicker and definitely had a noticeably more weight to them. And I mean, a 32-inch TV is pretty darn heavy on its own. And then you add that,
like I said, the 36-inch is 50 pounds heavier.
Oh, yeah.
For the same reason. Yeah.
You
do a vacuum and, I mean, you don't want to be sitting there watching TV and the dang thing implodes.
Right. When I worked at Walmart, it was before the flat panel TVs were being offered at the discount retail outlets like Walmart.
Right.
And the biggest TV we sold at Walmart was the 35-inch, and it had a curved screen. And there was a guy by the name of Chris that he was kind of he didn't work. He worked half of two shifts, because he'd come in towards the end of our shift, and he'd stay past our shift and work part of the overnight unloading shift. So he'd help us close, and then he'd unload the pallets in our department. And it was kind of, I don't know how he got that arrangement. So he was always, moving things off the pallets that were on the floor onto the shelves. So, he always had to, he was always, and he always wanted us to help him if we had the place cleaned up to, work the pallets as much as we can with him, because the more we broke down the pallets, the less work he had to do that evening once we left. And so one time a pallet came in that had a 35-inch TV right in the middle of it. And he was like, all right, let's, and I don't know, he swore up and down he's moved these by himself in the past, but I think he was full of something. I think he was smoking something that night. So we're like, no, let's lift this up. Let's do a two-man job on this. So I got one end, and he's got the other end. And for the two people on YouTube, you're going to get treated to what we dubbed the Chris Conti 35-inch TV dance, because I lift up on one end, he lifts up on the other end, and he goes, oh yeah, I got this, and takes a step forward to put himself under the box, and takes the weight. And the box starts leaning back away from me over his head. At that point, it's out of my hands. I have no control over what's going to happen next. And that's when Chris Conti invented the 35-inch TV dance that goes, you put your hands up above you, palms facing the ceiling, and you kind of do a little whoa, whoa, whoa back and forth movement, and like you got a heavy 35-inch TV over your head. And that's the Chris Conti 35-inch TV dance. And yeah, it was not the next dance craze sensation that took the nation in the 90s.
You didn't want to use a forklift.
No, we weren't licensed for forklifts.
Right. Oh, neither was he, and he was doing okay.
No, well, this was out on the sales
Good
floor.
Move.
You don't take forklifts out on the sales floor. Well, I guess
I understand that.
Yeah.
Sure.
No. The only thing we had was pallets.
So you didn't want to just leave that on the floor.
Right. The pallets ought to be broken down and
right.
merchandise put on the shelves. So someone was able to get behind him, embrace it, and we were able to get him back under control before he threw out his back.
Yeah, I would leave it on the floor on the pallet.
Yeah, we got it to the shelf where it belonged. So anyways, the guy agreed to help me move the TV. I guess he didn't realize just how popular this TV was and how much leverage he had, that he could make demands and charge money. He's like, it's free and I'll help you put it in the car.
Right.
That's the best deal you'll ever get for a 32-inch Sony Trinitron. So and he was only a 15-minute drive away from me. So I drove up there, backed the car up the driveway, shook his hand, and the TV was on the second floor. And he powered it on, showed me it powers on, and we lifted it up, and we got it to the stairwell, and this guy was clearly making expressions of being in pain. He's older than me, graying hair, maybe about 10 years older than me. I don't know. So then we were able to slide it down the steps. But even as we're sliding it down, the thing about a 32-inch Sony Trinitron TV is the weight is all in the screen. So it's front heavy.
Yes.
So
Very much.
So the end of the one end of the TV you don't want to hit the ground is the end of the TV that's trying to get to the ground. So it'd be so much easier if you didn't mind scuffing up the screen, because then you could just hold it that way and just slide the screen down the steps. But no, the whole time we're trying to slide down the steps, like it's tilting over, and it's fighting you every step of the way. It's a real battle moving a 32-inch Sony Trinitron. And
sure.
So we got it down the steps.
And it's not exactly like a cube.
No.
It has all these weird angles and stuff.
No. Well, it does have some spots.
The back end is narrow. The wide end is, big and flat. And
on the sides, there are like recessed areas that are convenient for gripping with your hand. But that doesn't help all that much, because you're lifting up, and the screen just wants to fly forward and take it right off of your hand. Probably the easiest way to hold it would be to hold it screen down, move it, and then force it upright before putting it down. But it's pretty risky holding it screen facing down, because if you drop it, that's where it's going to hit. So we got it out to the car. He made some of the most painful expressions I ever saw a grown man make on their face. It felt so bad. I'll never have to see this guy again, at least. So we got in the car, and I drove it home. And I told Kristen, I forbid you from trying to help me move this.
Sure.
Yeah, because I'm not going to kill my wife with a TV.
Did you have somebody on the other end to help?
No, I did not. I didn't think that part through. I was like, you know what? I've moved 27-inch TVs by myself at Walmart. This is 32. I only got to get it up a few steps and in the door. Once I get in the door, I get on a piece of carpet and drag it around. That's all I got to do. And, I managed to get it out of the car, and I got it on the ground behind the car. And then that's when I realized, I have a dolly. And so I go and I grab the dolly. But I got one of the dollies that has, like, the hard rubber tires, so it doesn't go upstairs easily. I should have sprung for one of the ones that has the inflated tires. But even then, I mean, this thing was weighing it down. So I was like, well, Seth's coming at the end of the month. I'll wheel the dolly to the back of the house. I'll cover the TV with a blanket, and that's where the TV will live for the rest of the month. And I let it sit there for a few hours while I regain my composure and my breath. And I decided, you know what? Fuck, I'm getting it in. I'm getting it in there. I'm going to do it. So I wheeled the dolly over to the side steps of the house. Because, I probably could have gotten it down the steps into the basement easy enough. But then it'd be in the basement, and I had to get it up a whole flight of steps from the basement to the first floor. Whereas if I get it into the first floor, I only have to go up half a set of steps. So why go down half a set of steps and then have to go up a full flight of steps when I could just go up a half a set of steps? So,
wait, why don't you want it to live in the basement forever?
Because that's not where I want to do my gaming.
Forever.
No.
Here's a good incentive.
No.
To change your plans.
No. This TV's for the dining room. This is the dining room TV.
So you'll always have a guest in your house in the dining room.
No.
In the corner of the dining room.
No, it's in the corner of the dining room. Yeah, that's where it always will reside.
Right.
And we'll have
the permanent guest.
Yeah. That exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Chris and I both.
I thought you'd get it.
Permanent guest. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Sony Trinitron, our permanent guest. So, I managed to somehow. You know what? I kind of did a thing where I rolled.
I take it this one doesn't take HDMI, right?
No, it has.
Does it have component video?
Yes, yes, it does. It is from the era of towards the end of tube TVs, where component video was on tube TVs.
So instead of being instead of being what the hell is it called? The P. Instead of being 1080p, it's 1080i.
No, it's not
720i.
No, it's standard def, but I mean,
but it can do higher, right? Or not?
Look,
mine can do higher, but they went with interlaced rather than progressive.
It's a standard def TV. I mean, when you get to the newer ones that were high def tube TVs, those won't do the light gun games. That's where the light gun games start to be a problem. This one definitely does light gun games, so it accepts component video, and it might do something like 480i or something like that. But I don't.
Right.
You know what? I'd have to look up the specs. As far as I know, it's standard def, but it accepts component video.
Yeah. I think mine does 720. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up again.
Yeah. Well, you look up your model. I'll look up my model.
We may have the same. Model.
We'll compare notes. We'll compare notes next week.
Yeah.
So what I did was I wheeled the dolly over to the steps of the side door, and I leaned the railing of the dolly along the steps to act as a ramp, so I could try to push the TV up the ramp of the dolly instead of carrying it up the steps, and it would slide up. But it also, the old saying, what goes up must come down. And so it was really awkward. And at some point, it slid back down and thudded on the top of the TV. And so I have two impact spots on the top of the TV. I mean, the glass is still fine. The tube is still fine. It turns on. It works fine. It's purely cosmetic damage. Which is a shame because it was in pristine condition when I picked it up, and now it's got some cosmetic spots on the top. But you know what? I could probably get some gray touch-up paint or something. I don't know. Maybe some magic marker. I didn't care at that point.
Got some new tapes, shall we say, it's like duct tape, but different colors.
I don't know.
Someplace between electrical tape and duct tape.
Well, then it would look like it has tape on it. I have this
problem with this freezer door that the plastic edge is cracking and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to get some of this plastic tape to cover it.
Yeah, I'll figure that out.
I had a guy that suggested that he could get a whole new door, but he couldn't pull that off, so I have to live with this.
Ah, bummer. Well, we'll see what I could do with this. Well, anyways, I need to get it on a TV stand at some point, because right now it's just sitting on a square of carpet on the floor.
Right.
And so that needs to get lifted up onto a TV stand, which it'll probably go on the TV stand that the 55-inch high def is on. Right now, because we'll get that mounted onto a wall downstairs, and I'll free up that stand. I'll move that into the dining room in the corner, put the Trinitron on that, set up all the ancient consoles to be hooked up to that.
Will that stand take the weight?
Yes. That stand. That stand. Seth gave me that stand, and he told me that is of a vintage that it could take up to like a 35-inch tube TV.
So if you and your wife stepped up onto the stand, it'll hold you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, now
that would be a good test.
Now, what I originally had for my gaming systems is I had like one of those IKEA shelves that has a bunch of cubbies in it, and I put a console in each cubby, and I put the TV. I had my high def TV on top of that in the old apartment, and that's fine because modern TVs are fairly light. But that's particle board.
Right.
And I have a feeling if I put the Sony Trinitron on top of that, if it doesn't just crack and smash into a billion pieces right away, it'll start bowing under the weight of that. And it won't take long before you start seeing this, thing smiling at me, going, hey,
Right.
I know it looks like I'm smiling, but
or
I'm in
you go
immense
away
pain.
from the weekend and you come back and you find the TV on the floor.
Yeah, that would
and
not
you
be
look
fun.
Up, did somebody break in and knock the TV off the stand?
Yeah, that'd be bad. The TV crush at the consoles underneath it, and I find a mess of plastic and particle board and glass all over the floor.
Right.
Yeah. No, so I'm not. I'll have to. I think I want to keep the consoles in the cubbies, but I'll just have to put the cubbies next to the TV stand, and I'll figure that out. I still got to figure out how I want to arrange things.
So moving on quickly, how's Venison doing?
I haven't heard from him. I haven't heard from the past. I mean, he's around. He tweets in. He does his show, so I assume he's doing all right. But I've not had a chance to talk to him since we last did the show.
Called into into this show.
Yeah, I'm surprised too. I even tweeted him the show announcement. He said, "Be there in a few. Big chicken wing dinner." Oh, he said that 15 minutes ago. So Venison should be joining us shortly. Soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how about Dune? Have you heard from Dune? Is he in California?
He was in California.
What's the deal? He was going to come in March, and now it's April. Like, what's the deal?
Well, you know how work schedules are. Things get shuggled around.
So that got delayed.
Back. That got delayed. He was in California. He actually, we did the Dune and Bob show yesterday, and he was able to host the stream. Well, he hosts some streams. I hosted some streams, but we were doing the show with him in the hotel room last night.
Nice.
But apparently he had to drive to Sacramento to pick up his boss and get a plane last night, so I think he's back in Kansas today, unless I've misunderstood that. But yeah.
So he clicked those heels twice, and poof, he's back in Kansas.
He was staying in Manteca.
Excellent.
Manteca. Yeah.
I thought he was going to Salinas.
That's what I thought too, but I don't know. I guess he was driving around to different places in California, so I don't know the details, but it was Manteca. And he was thinking of swinging by and visiting Mars, but he ended up visiting a sister.
Did Mars actually meet him at the airport?
No, he didn't have a chance to meet Mars.
Because he was showing this sign, and I wasn't sure if actually Mars gave him the sign or he just kind of wrote it up and said that it was from Mars or his Mars ID or something.
I think it was a joke. More like, it wasn't serious. Mars.
Well, of course. Of course, it's a joke.
It was a joke. Yeah. No, Mars didn't meet him there. He did not get to meet up with Mars on this trip, but hopefully he'll be doing another trip soon.
Well, that's too bad. I mean, if I was available, I would have had him at the airport. If I knew. Because I saw that tweet about this sign later. So it's like, okay, this is already too late.
Well, it sounds to me like he was he needed a car for this trip anyway, so he didn't need someone to meet him at the airport. He had to rent a car because he moved around to different places. He was going around to Manteca and Sacramento.
Oh yeah, no, and I get that. You're there for business, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of time to stop or meet with people.
Right.
Outside of business. No, I totally get that.
No, it's too bad that he couldn't meet up with Mars. Maybe picked you up along the way. You could all had a good old time.
Right. Of course, I've been spending a lot of time down here in Santa Maria. So. Yeah. So we're trying to work out all kinds of different things.
Yeah, I see.
I just hope. Let's see. Can I get all these appointments worked out?
You got time. You'll pull it off.
So anyway, I have a visitor. Oh, she's going to go see my folks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I better get going.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to ask.
Again, all things are going on.
Yeah, I was going to ask. How long is Nick in the area for, or has he already moved out?
I don't know. I'm guessing that he's gone to, Minneapolis to look around or whatever.
Okay. Well,
but I haven't talked to him in a while, and I'm really behind the 8 ball at that.
Okay. Well, you got a lot going on, so I'll let you get to it. And thanks for joining us.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Super.
Catch you later.
All right. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. Thanks for taking my call.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
There we go. The one and only Brian Blues was able to join us for the first hour here, even though he's on location, unable to host from his studio there in the Brian Studio Labs. And Venison has been finishing up a big chicken wing dinner. So hopefully he's finishing that up and getting ready to call us now, because he said that 15 minutes ago. So now we can catch up with Venison for the second half of this show. So let's see if he's answering or not, because sometimes he has trouble getting through. So we'll try.
The person whom you're trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please.
All right. So yeah, let's see. I covered putting this TV on the wall. I covered the Sony Trinitron and the struggles of moving that big ass thing. And let's see. I set up my stereo in here, and that's cool. I'm gonna have a coffee table that will sit behind me. I'm using a much smaller desk these days because I'm planning on doing a lot of my computing from this futon right here, with a coffee table right there, on that TV over there. And yeah, I still have my dual monitors over here in front of me, so I could host shows from here and, you know, do work on, or, you know, stuff like that from here and do my normal thing on the chair here. But then I can push this chair in and just kind of lounge on a couch with a coffee table with the wireless mouse and keyboard, and groove out with a whole, you know, full home theater, home computer experience. And that'll be cool. I'm really excited about that. I've wanted to set up my room like this for years now. And it was always kind of thing like, well, once I get myself a house, I'm going to set up a room like that, because then I'll have a room to store shit in the basement. So I won't have to be cluttering my room with stuff. I could actually, you know, set up some kind of a decent man cave. And so I'm really excited about this room. And this futon was $75. I told a story about moving that. And the thing about futons, futon mattresses don't like to stay put on the futon. This thing keeps sliding down. And I don't know if there's a trick to it or not. People talk about like getting like rubber pads or things like that, or Velcro. And I have Velcro somewhere. And so when I get the new futon cover, I'm going to play around with that and see if we can adhere some Velcro to the bottom of the mattress and onto the wooden frame here. And if that will hold the pad into place. But the new futon cover should be arriving tomorrow. And I had a nice assortment of colors to pick from. And of course, I decided bright neon green, like a green screen green. That is what I want for the color of my couch. And so that way, you know what? We do some streaming from the couch, because I think I'm going to try to do shows from the futon here when I get set up. And, you know, I've had Kristen join me a few times on the show recently, and it was kind of fun, like old times, and we could do some more of that. And so this is now going to be the couch for couch shows. No more wheeling all my shit into the living room, because now the living room is on a different floor from here, which means I got to, you know, wheel all my shit down a set of stairs. It's always a pain in the ass. Tear down the computer, set up the computer, set everything up in a different room. So now having a couch in the streaming room, I could do couch shows from here, and that'll be cool. We'll see how that goes. And I'll have to get a longer USB cable for the webcam and move it over to there somewhere. We'll figure that all out. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Looking forward to that. And I'm still figuring out what I want to do as far as streaming, because this show is stale at times, but it's also cool at times. I think Brian and I have a good interaction, and I want to keep something like that going. And obviously, Brian and I aren't going to host a heavy on the gaming type of show. Gaming streaming is a whole different thing, and this show has always been a radio style show. And you know, I feel I get my fill of radio show doing the things with Dune on Sundays, and that's a great show I have a lot of fun with. I'll keep doing that for forever. This show I'm still trying to figure out. I want to keep doing a project with Brian, but I don't know if I want to keep doing a Monday show or not, because you know, when I kind of thought about doing streaming with Kristen again, Kristen's doing a lot of gaming streaming. I have a desire to do vintage gaming streaming, and it might be cool to be able to do some weekend streams from the couch with some, you know, old school gaming on the TV. Now the vintage consoles themselves are in the downstairs, and I suppose I could walk one or two of them up if I want to do some streaming with one. But I'll probably do a lot of emulation up here because it's a modern high-def TV anyways. I'm going to set up the NES and the SNES Classic up here. If I fix up my Pi, I'll use that up here. So that's kind of what I have in store for up here is I'm not setting up all the vintage consoles up here. This will be emulation type gaming up here. The consoles are staying with the old school TV downstairs. And we don't have a dining room table, but I figure if we get a dining room table, we'll get something that is like, collapsible to a kitchen table, and it could expand out to with leaves would be a dining room table. We'll keep that in the kitchen eatery area, and I might throw some beanbag chairs or something in the dining room floor, so we have the the big ass 32-inch Sony Trinitron TV in the corner, and some gaming seating to do some old school gaming out of the dining room. And it's not like I'm going to be entertaining dining room dinners here all that often. My family's all in Jersey. I don't know if I'm going to be able to easily lure them up here for something. I might try to float the idea one of these years, hey, why don't you all come to Massachusetts for Christmas or for Thanksgiving? Maybe I can lure them up for Thanksgiving. The only thing is I can't put everyone up. That's the thing, is that now I have a house, and part of that is like I can entertain. And it's like, yeah, but my family's all 4 hours away, and it makes more sense for me to go to them than for all of them to come to me. But I think they want to see this house. And, hey, I got a futon they can sleep on. And there's TV in the guest room with the futon. So, yeah, we're still working out the details. So, yeah, that's home ownership. So let's see if we can get Venison on the line here now. Let's see if he's picking up yet.
The person whom you're trying to reach is currently...
All right. All right. So we're going to go ahead and ask Ven to hurry it up. And, yeah, I'll check in with him shortly. So see how he's doing. But, yeah. I talked about this room. I think I touched on everything there really is. I guess the big question is, where am I going to put the stop sign? And, it's like, because I didn't put anything on the walls in the last place. I had things on the walls in Hayward. I put framed album covers up on the wall and the posters, and I had the big stop sign hanging up behind me. And, I didn't hang anything up in the apartment because, well, I never really knew how long I was settling into there for. I wasn't really even planning on staying there for the 2 years, the 2.5 that I did. I kind of thought maybe we'll settle here for a year and try to get to Jersey because, I never planned on settling down in Massachusetts. But I found a decent job here, so may as well. But also the walls in that room. When I tried to mount the record shelves to the wall, the hole I drilled for a screw just crumbled away into a far bigger hole than I was trying to drill. And so I just kind of knew that hanging things on these walls was not a good idea. But this room, I found that the holes I drilled into this wall drilled in nicely. So I think I should be able to hang some stuff up. And I got some posters that I like. I don't know if I want to hang up a street sign or not. Part of me feels like, shouldn't I have outgrown that? But part of me is like, I'm still damn proud of that stop sign. Not that I did anything to other than be related to someone that happened to have one. I did not take that stop sign down off of the end of the road, but I do like owning a stop sign, and I don't know, maybe I'll put it up on the wall behind me there just so that it could still be in the background of the shot when I'm doing shows from here. I don't know. Maybe that's too much. Maybe I need to hang it up in the basement Not that that'll be easy because, you basically got concrete foundation walls there. And I'm not so sure I even want to try to drill into those. Yeah, I got to figure out what to do with those. I have started sorting through stuff, and it's amazing the shit you'll accumulate that you don't realize it's garbage till you stop to think about it. Because I boxed up a bunch of computer stuff and electronic stuff when I was living in Oakland. And then I took those boxes with me to Hayward and threw some things in there, root through them every now and then. And then I packed them up and shipped them across the country with me here. And I stored them in my closet in the apartment there. And then I brought them down here, and they're in the car, and I start rooting through them. I'm like, oh, my God, I'm not bringing these in the house. This is all crap and garbage. I, picked through a few things I needed. I kept the old hard drives because, if anything, the old hard drives are filled with copies of old shows. And I've extracted all those old shows onto, a current hard drive. And I've got that mirroring for redundancy. So technically, I don't need those old hard drives with shows on them anymore. But they are an extra copy just in case, this tower goes up in flames or something. So it's keep the old hard drives. If I'll have to find something that I can mount them to. Because they're old IDE drives. I don't think this motherboard has an IDE. I might, my older computer that I still use to record in stuff might have an IDE port. Anyways, yeah, I've been throwing out lots of shit. I need to throw out more shit. I need to throw out stuff. I don't know. I need to start paring back things. But now at least I have a basement to store some of this stuff. All right, so if we don't hear from Venison soon, we're going to wrap up because I'm just rambling. I guess we could talk about Billy Mitchell's been in the news. But I think everyone's probably read up on that that's interested. And if you're not, well, Billy Mitchell, who held a lot of world records in classic video games and arcade games. There was a movie that came out some years ago, The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters, about how Billy Mitchell had the record for the high score for Donkey Kong. And this guy, Steve Wiebe, decided he wanted to try to master the game and beat the high score. And he managed to do it and also beat 1,000,000 points and was the first to do that. And that submission ended up being disqualified because the board for his cabinet was provided by someone that had was not on friendly terms with Twin Galaxies. Anyways, the story has Steve Wiebe and Billy Mitchell going back and forth with their high scores. And Billy Mitchell kept on submitting videotapes, even though they kept on talking about how the best way to do it is to do it on an actual cabinet where it can be, authenticated or witnessed. But apparently, Twin Galaxies has determined after someone filed a complaint or submission that they believe that Billy Mitchell's submissions were done on MAME emulation, which is a no-no for high scores of arcade cabinet games because you can do editing and cheating using MAME. And so it's not the same thing to get a high score in MAME as it is to get a high score in a cabinet. And so now Steve Wiebe is now got the record for the first person to beat 1,000,000 points. Now, he doesn't have the high score for Donkey Kong. Neither Mitchell or Wiebe have had that score for a while. They've been beaten by, I guess, a new generation of gamers have come up and figured out how to further master the game. I don't know. It might be interesting to do a follow-up movie on, who are these people that now have the record, and how did they better what Wiebe and Mitchell kept going back and forth doing? I don't know. But very interesting. I mean, I was kind of shocked to find out that Billy Mitchell was allegedly cheating. It's what's the point? I don't get it. But apparently he's made a statement saying that he's doing research. So I think he's claiming that no, his scores are legit. I don't know. I saw a video explaining how a certain version of MAME, when it generates the screen, there's this like little tail that's coming off the edge of one of the girders that doesn't happen in the cabinet. And so, but from watching the way the screens are generated or drawn, you can determine if it's emulation or not. And so that's, yeah. All right, we're going to try to call Venison again. And if he doesn't pick up, I think we're going to wrap this up because I'm just rambling on about stuff you can watch more exciting videos about. And I'm not going to bore you with a half hour of no material if if I don't have it. So, I'll just, recommend something else you can watch for the next half hour until you watch that. But let's see if we can get Venison to pick up.
The person whom you're trying to...
All right. Well, I guess his chicken wing dinner has got the better of him there. So let's put a fork in this one and call it done. You can go on YouTube and watch something far more interesting about Billy Mitchell being caught cheating, because I'm sure there's about 20,000 different videos of people talking about this. Just search Billy Mitchell on YouTube and you'll find his latest statement and all of that. Or go watch The King of Kong. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Or you could watch Link be turned into a human pizza on Good Mythical Morning. That looks interesting. I might check that out after the show. But anyways, hopefully next week we'll be back with a full cast of characters with Brian and Venison joining us for another fun-filled edition of...
insert title here.
And maybe we'll even have something to insert there. Because we do, that has been the shtick that I was going to fill in a title every week, but some weeks I got nothing. And on those weeks, we leave it blank. But yeah. We'll have some more moving stories by next week. I still got another half of my record collection that needs to come over during this week. And I've still got more settling in to do here. And hey, home ownership is going to come with all kinds of interesting stories, I am sure. So you're not going to want to miss out on those. But be sure to check out NSGradio.com for all your internet radio needs. And Vamp will be coming on tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss that. And Dune and Bob on Sundays. Hey, I'm tired. So yeah. Sorry I don't got anything to fill the next half hour with, but go, find something cool on YouTube and check it out. Better than listen to me ramble. But stay tuned. Exciting things for streaming are going to happening. I'm real excited about this room, and I've set up this room to be convenient to stream from too. I plan on trying to get more into some of the gaming streaming, see what I could do there. Bring Chris in on that. I'm also planning on getting back to the quadraphonic channel, the Quadcast channel I built. And maybe try to make some more things happen there from this room. I am set up for quad here, but I can't stream in quad. That's the one thing that's really held me back there. But so stay tuned for lots of cool streaming things. And thank you everyone for listening. And good night.